Greetings everyone on the PvZ Madness channel. It's traditionally I want to share with you 7 short examples of madness in PvZ 2. Sit back, like this video and let's get started. I'll start with the sequel to this madness with the Z-corp, which is lying loosely on a couch from the Mangles. It turns out that not only Guardian stacks are suitable for this purpose, the tall nuts for example are also good for this task. Yes, that's where the logic left the beach. On the Mangles the Z-corp at least look normal, but not on the nuts. The subject seemed to claw his teeth into the shell and freeze. One could only envy the muscles of the dead beat's back and abs. Of course I couldn't stop there and checked a few other plans. It turned out that a simple walnut wouldn't work as a bed for a Z-corp. I decided it was too small, so I took the primal walnut instead next time. This is taller and according to my theory could fit, but no, apparently it's not the height of the plant, but some other feature of it, and I think I have partially solved this mystery after all. If we take a holographic walnut and feed it, then we again get an excellent bed for the Z-corp. He couldn't really lie down on it though. In general, I think this theme works either with plants that Z-corp can fly over, or with those that are not destroyed by a collision with him. Although with Mangled none of these conditions seem to be met, so my theory has a gap after all. In any case, I am left to guess and the Z-corp is left to levitate above the water. So that's the wonderful picture I got. Everything brilliant is simple, and today is an example of the validity of this expression. The myth is simple but very interesting. Supposedly an ordinary bull cannot be swallowed by a toad, but a veteran bull is easily chewed up. You and I see the toad really only beats the cattle with his tongue, but doesn't swallow him. No matter with the imp on his back or if it is already rid of the imp, the toad doesn't swallow it whole. I will be very surprised if that myth turns out to be true. It would be a completely illogical madness, because veteran units are supposed to be more dangerous and stronger by all characteristics. And what do we see? The black bull was eaten just at one time. What's the difference between these bulls? It just licked the red one, but it swallowed the black one. My face is about the same as frogs on the screen. It's absolutely ridiculous, but the fact is that this myth turned out to be true. What about other zombies with the veteran version? Of course, there is no point in checking out the mage zombie on the jetpack, but the machines interested me. Specifically, I decided to check out the tractors and turbocones. Tractors turned out to be edible in both versions. Let's check out the cones. At the bottom comes the Robocone veteran and at the top is the regular model. The toad grabs the veteran one and shoves it in the mouth at once, but the regular cone turned out to be too tough for the toad. It can only beat him with his tongue. Again, history repeats itself as in the case of the bulls. Now there will be no myth, no question and no bug. I don't know what I was trying to do here myself. I was just doing nonsense and randomly planting plants, and then hands themselves began to do the unknown. I just try not to disturb them. Anyway, if you mix Springy Bob, Brubble Bush, Escape Route and Telepotato Mine, you get a torture room for Gargantua. The tentacles of the Toned Bush move on the ground, manage to prickle, Gug bounces around the beans with prickles stuck in his legs, flies around the lawn and teleports a bit. All in all, this is real PvZ madness. Well, the escape route once again confirmed that to make a separate video about it is simply necessary. I think you agree with me, but Gargantua is unlikely to be happy about it. Anyway, expect a video about route in July, but in the meantime we need to gather material. This week we are going to be on the beach several times, which is obvious because it's summer and we want to swim. This time I've been told the myth that if a zombie ends up at the waterlands border, then it can even eat seaweed and does so actually with its back. I put the seaweed, it plunked into the water to grab the enemy, but then it surfaced and was actually cheekily eaten by the zombie who was standing in front of it. This turned out not to be a myth, but the truth, a sad unpleasant truth. The same man who wrote this myth said that he was even once a fat diver who didn't even crawl out of the water with seaweed. I only managed to replicate the eating of the seaweed by the diver the same way I did the first time. The water-hidden diver kept dragging into the abyss by plant, but I don't rule out that sometimes a madness can still happen. In general, the first part of the story is 100% true, and with the second part it's a matter of luck. Next is a bit of strange myth that I really wanted to test myself. In general, if you throw the zombie away with Mangled at the moment when the stone ball rolls, the poor guy will be thrown first to the right and then to the left. I really wanted to see this madness. It turns out that it's not so easy to check, you have to hit in timing. I tried to adjust everything as it should, but each time nothing worked. My nerve cells disappeared at an incredible rate. I even wanted to quit, but suddenly in one attempt threw the zombie on the very edge of the tile trap and apparently had to do so from the beginning. Poor zombie, he was really thrown from side to side. It was not a myth, but the truth. Well, I can now with a clear conscience move on to the next story. Do you remember that video in which there was a chomper with infinite tool that he acquires if you teleport his potential victim at the moment of pulling? Well, now I want to see another zombie who ends up in the same lane. Will he be pulled by the permanent chomper's ult? I unfreeze the victim, but as we can see, no pulling happened. The ult turned out to be a fake and the clown was safely teleported away by the magician. Moreover, if the zombie does reach the nibble in this state, the deadman will eat him endlessly and the flower turns into an eternal nut. Literally eternal, the zombie will never be able to eat it, but if we destroy that clown with our chomper ult initially, then he will return to his normal state and burps up like if he ate the clown below. In short, PvZ Madness is always with us. At the end we will have pain. Look, I have Superfan on my lawn, then he will be kicked by an all-star right on the iceberg ledges. You will see why later, I warn you, it's going to be brutal. Here's our athlete running, tossing the imp where he needs to go and freezing the pose I want. Now it's important to stop the all-star running, all set for the most shameless plot on the channel. Warning, all-star is forever beating his own fan. If you constantly update the freeze with the iceberg ult and then only unfreeze all-star with the whip, you can really kick the poor imp forever that way. This is another one of my crazy constructs. I then also wanted to do the most inhuman thing possible and get all-star to kick the imps in the exact same spot. It only turned out to be a one-time sorry kick-ass, and then all-star decided to shorten the distance. All in all, humiliating Superfan to the max. Don't repeat this at home, all the action was done by professionals. Well, I'm telling you that's all for today. I hope you enjoyed this PvZ Madness recap and that I earned the likes. Subscribe to the channel, see you soon!